Hello, my name is Antonio Edward, and I'm going to take you through the steps of branding your login page for Microsoft Office 365. If you notice, I'm using a standard login, portal.office.com, and I'm going to use my personal tenant that's here. You want to go ahead and log into it with your admin credentials, and of course we're going to click on admin. So once you're logged in, you click on admin. You can also get to admin from your app launcher, or if you go to your dashboard or my apps. If you go to my apps, your admin page is right here. Alright, so once you get to admin, you want to scroll down on the left hand side. The easiest way to get to Azure, because you got to do this in Azure, you have to make sure that you click into this. This makes it easier without having to know the website address to the Windows Azure page, or I keep calling it Windows, Microsoft Azure. So you click on Azure AD, and it's going to log you in with your credentials, as you can tell. If you do want to create a bookmark for it, just bookmark this here. You can bookmark manage.windowsazure.com/shizmedia.net. The shiz media, of course, that's your default domain, so you want to place that with your default domain. Now, whenever I say default domain, for those of you who don't know, your default domain, if you go click on domains on the left here in your admin center, and you scroll down until you see the domain that says default. If you want to change the default domain on your tenant, if you have multiple domains like I do, you can select that domain and you can set as default. For my tenant, shizmedia.net is the default. So just want to make sure that's known, and that's how you know what your default domain is. So whenever I say default domain, just realize what that means. Just replace that with your default. Okay. Once you get into Windows Azure, now called Microsoft Azure, you want to go ahead and click into your All Items, Shiz Media. You can also get to it by going after directory. If you have a lot of items here, like let's say you have a lot of different features in your Microsoft Azure, on the left hand side, click on after directory, and then you click on your name of your tenant. Once you click on the name of your tenant, you got all this stuff here. Click on configure near the top there. Once you click on configure, you want to customize your branding. Now there's a lot of other options here. I'm not going to get into any of this stuff here, but there's a lot of awesome features here that you can get into. But for now, we're just going to talk about custom branding. Edit existing branding settings, default. Or you can simply add one for specific languages. We're going to use default because everybody's going to get the same login page no matter what language they're in. But you can actually edit different versions for different languages. Now, it tells you here what the sizes are. You got 60 by 280, you got 200 by 200, and you also got a background color you can choose, and a page illustration. Now I'm going to take you to what all that looks like. This is your background illustration. Right now this is Santa Monica facing west, coming off the I-10 freeway and Pacific Coast Highway. This is the standard Office 365 background. This right here will be your logo, and so you want to paste your logo there, and you want to make sure that you follow these parameters right here for your graphics. Now look at this here too. Make sure that that the file itself is no higher than 500 kilobytes. So if you want to do your sign-in page illustration, you want to upload pictures, your standard camera upload may be too large. So make sure that you knock it down a few steps. by reducing the resolution or the compression rate, maybe even changing it to a JPEG, a lower compressed or a highly compressed JPEG file, so that this will be acceptable right here. 1 or 10 megabit file won't work for this. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up. Now, I don't have any of this created, so this gives me the opportunity to show you how to do it without any tools whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up Microsoft Paint. I'm going to resize this so that my horizontal is wider and my vertical, make sure that you turn off the maintain aspect ratio. Let's just do a 500 by 500 so that I can have some plain room in there. I'm going to grab one of my logos. Okay, now I'm going to try to grab the best logo possible for the size, of course. And so what I'm going to do is grab this one here. I'm going to drop it on in here. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to widen this part here. Then I'm going to select my graphic within Microsoft Paint and push it towards the center as best I can. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to go back to Internet Explorer and I'm going to say, okay, I want to make this a 280 by 60. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce my image. Make sure you turn off the maintain aspect ratio. I'm going to turn it to pixels. I think I did percentage last time. I skipped pixels. Okay, and you want to make sure you do a 280. Okay, make sure you maintain aspect ratio. Sorry about that. 280 by vertical 50. Okay, so what you got to do is kind of play around until you get just about where the numbers are lower on the other side. If it works out where 280 and this is at 50, it's better to set this at 50 so that this here will match. Now you got this image here. It's a small logo. What you may want to do is have your graphic artist do this, but if you don't have a graphic artist, well, this is a good time to look at this. Now notice the numbers here, 172 by 50. I'm going to keep increasing this until I get to 280. If you had Adobe Photoshop, this will be a breeze. I'm going to select my graphic within and then grab it, push it to the center as best I can visually. There we go. And what I want to do is take a small brush, white color, and erase that information down at the bottom here so that when I reduce it again, it looks more like my logo. File, save as, put it on my desktop for a minute. I want to call this Shiz Media Login. Too easy, right? I'm going to start fresh again and I'm going to grab a square this time. Notice that it's asking for 200 by 200 this time. So I'm going to grab a logo here that's about 200 by 200. So let's see, how about this one here? It's 1500 by 1500. Let's put this in Microsoft Paint and let's knock it down to 200. Maintain aspect ratio is definitely checked at this point. There we go. I don't like the way it's positioned, So I'm going to grab it, push it down to the center as much as possible, and I'm going to put this on my desktop so I don't overwrite anything that's already in my graphics files. I want to put tile, shiz media tile, JPEG file. Make sure you select JPEG. You can do PNG, but I recommend JPEG just because. Now, I'm going to look for a picture. It could be a picture of your company, like a company picture, okay? In this instance, I'm going to take a picture of my wife and myself. So let's see. Let me see if I can find one real quick that really looks nice. I'm going to take this picture here. It's not really a great picture. It's an old camera, but I'm going to use it anyway because I think it will represent my wife and I working as a company. So you want to make sure you grab a high resolution picture, of course, but as you can tell, it's only 640 by 480. I'm going to bring it up to 1000 and let's see how that looks. Okay, we'll go with that. I'm going to go ahead and save as. I'm going to push it to the desktop and call it Antonio Serenity.jpg. Okay, this picture was taken like over 15 years ago. So I don't look that young anymore. She still looks young, but I don't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and upload these pictures. And the illustration is going to be the picture of my wife and I. Now, again, you want to put like maybe your company photo. I instead of putting like a logo there, you know, in this part here, I recommend like a company photograph. And maybe you can insert a logo here, and then your people who standing in front of your building can stand about here, you know. And maybe you could do something where once a week you upload a new picture, maybe like staff of the week or staff of the month or company events, you know, or even something simple as you're advertising like a company dinner. So every time people log in, they can see that there's a company dinner coming up soon, like a Christmas dinner. You can have like some type of graphic showcasing like last year's Christmas dinner. So that's something, you know, you could think about. You know, you get creative with that. I think that would make it more exciting that people log in every single week and they see a different logo. I'm going to put the tile graphic here, the 200 by 200, and the 280 by 50 I'm going to put here. This is your text for login. Welcome. These are all the different companies that I run. This is a partner, but anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this. Go back and check it just to make sure. Okay. All right, so let's do that again. I'm not sure what happened, but let's, maybe I skipped a feature. Okay. Oh, and the background color, if you know HTML color, FF is pure white, and pure white looks just like this background here. If you want to have a specific background color, you can do that. Just use some type of color picker. You can see right here what it's asking for, but 6Fs is equals white. Okay, you hit complete. Oh, okay. I forgot about this. It's now uploading my branding, so we kind of have to wait for this to get done. There we go. It finished one of them, and we're waiting for the other one. Okay. So right now we're basically waiting for these files to upload. Okay, so while that's uploading, let's look into some other portion of what you can do to make the experience a lot more friendly. Okay, to get to your branding site, you have to type in some weird stuff. Okay, let's see. What is it doing now? Still saving. Okay. All right. So if you click on this right here, it tells you what if it's making, or if it's doing like a very tough task. It's telling you right here that it's saving the branding. So I'm going to leave that page alone. You can have multiple tabs while you're doing this. I wouldn't open up Google Chrome because I already got this password saved. So I'm going to go ahead and just use it. This is what you call a URL shortener. You can pick your own for your company. A lot of companies have this because when you type in a short URL, it takes you to the long URL of whatever internal web page that you guys go to, or external for that matter. If you notice, this is my personal URL shortener, okay? And so if I grab this URL and I put that there, it will automatically take you to whatever site it is. I can advertise this link and it will take them there. And it's so much easier to remember that. If you have one for your company, you can do that. But let's say you don't have a URL shortener. So what I recommend is that you go to GoDaddy. Okay, you go to GoDaddy, and I'm going to go ahead and sign into my account. I have a couple of domains that are due, so please ignore those messages while I'm logging into this. Okay, so I'm going to go to Manage Domains, and I'm going to go to my company domain, shizmedia.net. Okay, shizmedia.net is my primary domain name. That's the website to my company. If you go to that website, that is my company website address, right? Now, if I want to make it easy for people to log into Office 365, then why not create a redirect? A redirect is where you have one domain that redirects to a different website, and you can have it redirect to whatever website you want. I'm going to make this easy for my employees to get to. Instead of having them remember this jibber jabber of a website that's like 50, that looks like this up here, I want them to remember something easy. People in my company already know my domain name is shizmedia.net. I'm going to make it easy for them. The website address to get to the new branding is still saving my branding. I'm not sure if there's an issue right now, but the website address is outlook.com/shizmedia.net. Okay, now shizmedia is not won't be yours. The shizmedia.net will be the default domain. So if your default domain is carsonplumbing.com, you want to put outlook.com/carsonplumbing. Okay, but in my case, it's shizmedia.net, and it automatically redirects to, oh, there it is. There's my picture, there's my logo, and there is my credentials. Now, one thing that's cool, I want to show you something that's really cool. I'm going to clear, okay, I'm going to create a subdomain called, see what I already have here. So I already have something here. So let's just call it enter.shizmedia.net. I'm just going to go ahead and type this out. Make sure that you select HTTPS and type out outlook.com/ your default domain name. Now that's my redirect. So when I tell my employees, just go to enter.shizmedia.net, they know that when they type that in, it will automatically redirect to this domain right here, to that website there, very easily. So I save that, and as you know, it can take up to 72 hours for a domain to propagate throughout the internet. Really and truly, it really doesn't. But I'm still going to give that disclaimer. It can take up to 72 hours for that subdomain to work. it really takes a few seconds or maybe like a couple minutes. So I'm not going to take you there right away. Okay. Let me open up Firefox as I cleared my cache and cookies in Firefox, and so that I can show you. It says it's still saving. I'm going to let that go for a minute. And let's go ahead and create that short URL I was telling you about. So go to my short URL site, and I'm going to call it enter. Okay. Oh, let's say I already have one that already exists. Okay, that's true. So I already have something like that going. Basically, what it's telling me is that, and I'll show you what it means. I have a short URL that goes to this website here automatically. So if I post this here, it will automatically redirect to here. Okay. Now, what I can also do is I can tell them to also go to enter.shizmedia.net. Type that in, and if GoDaddy worked. See, how long did it take? Like a minute for it to propagate. And so then your users can log in and go right to their account. Very easily, right? Now, the outlook.com/shizmedia.net automatically takes you to your mailbox, your Outlook mailbox. So just to let you know. But they can get to the other portions of Office 365 by going to the app launcher, just by going up here. Very, very easily. Let me go ahead and close this because I don't need that right now. All right, so that's basically it. I showed you how to set up your branding, and this little thing right here, I'm not sure what it's doing. Let me go ahead and come out of that. Go back to it. Okay, let me hit refresh and see if it still says it's uploading. Okay, I guess that took care of that, right? All right, so let me see. I'm going to go to enter. This is now using Google Chrome, and it should automatically, there it is. Okay, so everything worked just fine. All right, so I'm going to sign in, and basically takes you right to your Outlook.com page. Very easily, right? Too easy. Now, if you want to adjust your branding within this website, this right here is a fluke. I need to change this. I just haven't got around to it. But you can put a graphic here, and this is done within Office 365. So what you do is you click on your app launcher, go to admin, and then you go to company profile. In your company profile, you can edit your support page. So let's say you have a support team. You can add the web page to that, a support email address, even a telephone number, and you can create a help desk card. If you turn it on and you click on this question mark, all the information pops up here. So anybody who logs into your Office 365 account and they have a problem, they can always click on this, click into the support page, which is my SharePoint site. And if I wanted to, I can set up like maybe like a page in SharePoint where they can enter in their issue, and then it gets submitted to the IT department, and they can work on it and contact the user to get their situation fixed. So that's one cool little custom feature that I like. This was just added just like a few weeks ago. Custom tiles. You can add custom tiles to your system, which I think is really cool. So that's something that you can add. Custom theming. This is the custom theme within Office 365. So if you want your logo to be at the top, you can do that. You can have a background image, which takes this right here into a background image. I would say put up pictures or whatever you want. notice that if something comes on top of here, it kind of covers up my words here. So I'm going to replace that one of these things. As you can tell, this is a 1366 by 50 pixel JPEG file. I'm going to have to get rid of that at some point. I just haven't got around to it. If you click on this logo, you can take them to wherever you want. So if I wanted to, I can have them click on this and take them to their time card. Say if you click on the logo, it will go to your time card. In this case, it goes to the SharePoint site very easily. All right, so I think that's really cool. Let me see. Let me go back to the admin page here. It's going really slow because of my Camstudio is taking up all the computer resources right now. So the computer's kind of struggling. All right, so then custom theming. And of course, this has been around since Office 365 has been around. Your details. This is your company details. So you definitely want to, wherever your headquarters are at, if you have multiple locations, it's your main location. If you have something like the cleaners, and you got 5 locations, well, put the cleaners of where you're at, the owner. Maybe like the first store that opened or your flagship store, put that there and you put it here. If you have like a headquarters office that's not the cleaners, then you want to put that, or some type of mailing address, and put that in here, the phone number, the email address. Your default domain is selectable here as well. And then you can save it here. So those are some of the custom features you can set. I think it's really, really cool what Office 365 is doing, and a lot of features, a lot of apps you can install, Salesforce and DocuSign, and just so much stuff that's going on right now with Office 365 that is going to make it marvelous. Especially with Windows 10, Cortana can now get involved in your Office 365 world. If you have Windows 10 and Office 365, it's going to be marvelous. All right, so that's it for me. And let me see. This by now should have changed. Yep, staff. No, enter. Enter is the new one. And it takes you directly to your Outlook.com page. There is another URL that you could use that will take people to the basic home page of Office 365, and basically it will take them to their dashboard, which is I believe it's if there is another URL that will take people to this. So if you rather not them go directly to their mailbox, you can have it go here. Now if you wanted to, you can actually set up a little subdomain so if they go to mail.shizmedia.net, calendar.shizmedia.net. You just got to get the URL for each and every one of these. Notice, see this URL right here? That's the URL right there. That's all you need. You don't need all this. Just grab this. And this right here is your calendar. So if you want to get your calendar, you can do that. If you just put this URL, it takes you to your email. Let's see. If you want people to go to OneDrive, make sure you grab that URL. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. Actually, I believe it's this URL. Sorry. Yeah, it's this URL. It's just this right here. Grab that URL and turn it into a redirect domain, like OneDrive.shizmedia.net or files.shizmedia.net. Let me see. Sites is your SharePoint site. So if you want people to go to the main SharePoint site, then all they need is this right here. So you can put like site.shizmedia.net and it will redirect to here. A little bit easier to remember, your domain than the Microsoft domains that are there. Yammer is a little bit more complicated. I will suggest that Yammer, you want to use the app launcher link. don't stray from that, because this link right here automatically logs you into Yammer. Yammer is not completely integrated with Office 365 yet, so I don't suggest that. Um, Videos, we got a lot of different stuff here. Sway.com. That's basically it, sway.com. And it automatically logs you in, I think. Yeah, it does. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of different features there, and I hope this helps. If you have any comments or questions, definitely mention it below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, or have any comments. Or maybe if I was wrong about something, I don't take anything personal. I don't know everything. I just really appreciate if just make a comment down below. If you like this video, click on like. If you want to subscribe, click on subscribe. You have a good day, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.